Welcome to Various Autistic Voices from Adult Autism with William. I'm William O'Flaherty, your host. This occasional series gives you a chance, as the title suggests, to hear a variety of views from adults who are on the spectrum. Handling social events is the topic of this video. In a moment, you will hear from Autistic Jenny and Hunter about their perspectives, and I will share some of mine at the end. First, however, did you know it is not too late to share your viewpoint? That is, this and other topics I posted on my website, and they are found in the description of this video as well, have an open-ended submission policy, meaning I will consider them at any time for a possible future posting. So, if what either of my guests or something I said gets you thinking about your experience and you want to make a video, then don't hesitate to send it to me. They just need to be 200 seconds or less. That's 3 minutes and 20 seconds. You can always reach out to me with questions about the process. So you'll hear from Autistic Jenny in a moment after I show you the prompts that she and Hunter saw that led to what you see. That is, they may not address all the angles suggested in the prompts about handling social events. But first, let me mention that it was Autistic Jenny's creator collab that inspired me to do this series. Learn more about what she does in the description.
Social situations, it's just one of those things that we're never taught about. There's no classes for that. You only know what you observe as a child and going forward, how you see other people act. But I was the kind of teenager that read books like Personality Plus because I didn't understand people. And it helps me to at least try to understand people better. But it didn't help me learn how to socialize with people. Socialization has been a constant issue for me my whole life. It's probably one of my biggest issues. On my channel, there are so many videos about social anxiety and social events, and it's affected me having friendships. And currently, my best friends are just online friends, and I don't want to use the word just because they're much more than just friends to me. They're best friends. But I'm going to give you a little more in depth of what social events and social interactions are like for myself. I used to make myself go to social events. This is back before I had a diagnosis of autism. And it's like ever since I got that diagnosis, I gave myself permission to not even attend things. Like I have had so many uncomfortable situations happen for me at social events till I feel like I have social trauma and it's something that I need to deal with. But I want to explain to you what happens to me in my head before a social event. I am usually so nervous, my stomach gets tore up, shaky. I take supplements to calm me down, like valerian root. I am stimming more, trying to redirect my thoughts. Reading some Bible verses help me, like Psalm 91. Maybe I'm watching something funny to kind of distract myself. What are the strategies for me when I get there? Well, I have also pre-scripted what I'm going to say, and as we know, that doesn't always work. People don't always reply with what you expect they're going to say, so sometimes there's just a lot of awkward silence or awkward conversations for me, not knowing what to talk about. I am not giving much eye contact, looking down a lot, trying to act like I'm on my phone. Also giving myself permission to leave an event early. If I have to go, I am probably not going to stick around, especially if I'm uncomfortable. But that is when I even go. So it's a whole lot of mess going on for me. When it comes to social events. It is something that I want to work on. I'm sure I need counseling over it because of the trauma I've experienced from social situations. I thank you for having this topics on your channel.
When I get invited to a social event, 99 times out of 100, I'm not real happy about it because I struggle with social events. They wear me out. I love people, and as William himself has said, and I'm just like William in this respect, he said that he found out he didn't dislike people, he just disliked having to figure out how to communicate with them and how to navigate that. And that's the part I dislike is I like people just fine. So it takes a lot of energy out of me to be social and to go to social events. And also when I get invited to a social event, until the event actually happens, it's all I can think about, and I can't really focus on much else. So it's just like when you have an appointment later on in the day. With me, I can't even focus or concentrate on anything else during that day, and the day is shot. So that's kind of how it is when I get invited to a social event. Now, if I can see that it's really just going to take a lot out of me to do the social event, and it's probably not even really going to be healthy for me to do it, then I just won't do it. I've learned that that's the best thing, is to take care of myself, and it's not worth it to go and to harm or damage my mental health. So if it's something that I can see is going to be detrimental to me in some way, then I just won't do it. And usually, we were asked if we sometimes leave early from social events. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't, though, because I'm not, as you might guess, because I'm autistic, I'm not real good at social cues, so usually I can't pick up on the fact when it's time to go, and I overstay my welcome sometimes. So that's tricky, just like anything social or anything involving other people.
My first thought when it comes to social events is usually, do I really have to go? That is, unless it's something I'm really excited about, which is rare, I just as soon not go to a social event. That may seem odd to people who have met me, as I'm pretty comfortable speaking in front of a large group. However, as you probably realize, while there is a certain amount of social anxiety when speaking in front of an audience, it is somewhat different from interacting one-on-one or with a handful of individuals. When I speak in front of a group, I have well-prepared notes, and if it's a setting that is they are expected to listen and only maybe have a Q&A time at the end, then I'm all set. That's because many years ago, I worked for 4.5 years as a guidance counselor, and I went into classes each week giving 30 minutes guidance lessons. And so I learned over that time how to get better at speaking to a group. When it comes to one-on-one interactions or with small groups of people, the variables are usually just too many for me to comfortably handle. Fortunately, when I go to a social event, I usually have my wife also coming with me. But then there is sort of a problem with that. My wife generally enjoys social events, and she is one to stay to the end, and I'm definitely not. Even with her with me, I usually look for an opening to not stay very long. Prior to getting my autistic diagnosis just after I turned 60 in 2024, I didn't understand very well what I didn't understand about social situations. I would get frustrated and often depressed about how a social event or interaction went because of the difficulties I'd have. In fact, as Hunter referenced in his video you just saw, I sometimes wondered whether I actually disliked people because of a tendency to avoid them. I figured out my avoidance was due to challenges I had with understanding and using nonverbal communications and other aspects of social interactions. So now I give myself permission to be okay with avoiding social interactions. However, I have to be careful not to let myself retreat to total social isolation. What I might do then is to remind myself when going to a social event that I will likely feel uncomfortable at times, and that's okay. I've made it through other social interactions, I will remind myself, in the past, and so I will manage this one even if I do have some difficulties. I hope you enjoyed hearing what the three of us had to say about social events. Thanks to Jenny and Hunter for sharing their thoughts. Do you want to share your perspective on this topic? If so, just know that while there isn't a deadline for submitting, I'd like to hear from you as soon as possible to consider including you on this or my other topics for future videos. Check the descriptions for details. Thanks for visiting my channel. Please consider liking and or sharing this video. Also, feel free to comment and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and watch other videos.